UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is making waves with a decision that could put him on a collision course with former US President Donald Trump. Despite strong opposition from Washington, Downing Street has signaled Starmer's intent to move forward with negotiations to hand over sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, a move that has sent shockwaves through Trump's inner circle. In today's video, we break down this high-stakes geopolitical battle and what it could mean for the UK, the US, and global security. The Chagos Islands are no ordinary piece of territory. Home to the strategically vital UK-US military base on Diego Garcia, they serve as a key hub for Western military operations in the Indian Ocean. Trump's allies fear that ceding control of the islands could have massive geopolitical consequences, especially with China and Iran seeking to expand their influence in the region. Despite these warnings, Starmer appears undeterred. While negotiations had been postponed until after Trump's expected return to the White House, the British Prime Minister now seems determined to press ahead, following a call between Starmer and Mauritius Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam. A Downing Street spokesperson reaffirmed the UK's commitment to securing a deal. The statement emphasized the strong relationship between both nations and highlighted Starmer's insistence that any agreement must ensure the Diego Garcia military base remains protected from malign influence, a clear reference to concerns over China's involvement. Both leaders expressed confidence in reaching a final agreement soon, marking a major step forward in the negotiations. Reports indicate that Mauritius has pushed for major financial incentives as part of the deal. Starmer's government is reportedly considering an annual £90 million payment to maintain military access to Diego Garcia, amounting to £9 billion over a proposed 100-year lease period. However, Mauritius appears to be holding out for even greater financial and economic benefits before finalizing the agreement. Meanwhile, Washington is watching closely. Trump's allies fear that handing control of the islands to Mauritius could provide Beijing with a strategic foothold in the region, potentially undermining Western security interest. The US government has already begun signaling its concerns. Following a conversation between UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy and Trump's Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the US released a pointed statement emphasizing its fears about China's growing influence in the Indian Ocean. Rubio went further, warning that the deal could allow Beijing to gain valuable intelligence on US military operations. Though official statements from both governments carefully avoid direct references to the Chagos Islands, the US version of events makes it clear Washington isn't happy, with Starmer pushing ahead and Trump's allies sounding the alarm. This issue is quickly turning into a major transatlantic flashpoint, one that could strain relations between London and Washington just as Trump prepares for a return to power. The big question now is, will Starmer stay the course, or will mounting pressure from the US force a rethink? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Should the UK press ahead with the deal, or is this a risky move with long-term consequences? In a fiery speech marking the 5th anniversary of Brexit, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage didn't hold back as he launched a scathing attack on former Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Speaking to a passionate crowd in northwest Essex, the constituency of current Tory leader Kemi Baddock, Farage called Brexit the greatest constitutional victory in centuries. But his celebration quickly turned into criticism, accusing Johnson of treating Brexit as a mere political game. Recalling the historic moment, Farage painted a vivid picture. 5 years ago, I stood in Parliament Square with Richard Tice, looking out at a crowd of 100,000 people. The energy was electric. We had done something incredible. We had won the greatest battle against the establishment Britain had seen in centuries. But where was Boris Johnson? He was in 10 Downing Street, banging a gong pathetically. Do you remember the faces of Boris and Michael Gove the morning after the referendum? They looked like they'd seen a ghost. They never truly wanted to leave the EU. It was all just a game about who would lead the Conservative Party. Farage admitted that while Brexit was a success constitutionally, the government had failed to deliver on one of its biggest promises, controlling migration. We're out of the EU, and we're never going back. That's an undeniable success. In foreign policy, we stand taller on the world stage than ever before. We took the lead on Ukraine in a way we never could under a common EU policy. We rolled out a vaccine program faster than Europe. But let's be honest, millions of people voted for Brexit to take back control of our borders. And on that front, it has been a disaster. He didn't mince words when addressing the migration crisis. 130,000 young men crossing the English Channel in dinghies. Net migration skyrocketing to over 1 million in 2023. The people feel utterly betrayed. But they weren't betrayed by Brexit. They were betrayed by a conservative government that never believed in it to begin with. A government that made promises they never intended to keep. A government that thought they could get away with it. Then, in a direct attack on Tory leader Kemi Baddock, right from her own constituency, Farage declared, "Well folks, I'm back. And they won't get away with it. They should never be forgiven for what they've done." The crowd erupted as Farage delivered his final rallying cry. Here in Northwest Essex, we now have nearly 500 paid-up members and 460 registered supporters, and we're only getting started. The momentum is with us. The energy is with us. We know what we stand for: family, community, and country. That's it for today's deep dive into this high-stakes geopolitical showdown. Keir Starmer's bold move could redefine UK-US relations, but with Trump's allies raising alarm bells, this battle is far from over. What do you think? Should the UK press forward with this deal, or is this a risky gamble with serious consequences? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.